Hello students, let me continue the chapter 9 constructor and destructor. As you know, I had discussed in session 20 and 21, that is introduction, declaration and the definition of constructors, and then type of construction, that is a default and a parameterized constructor. So today's session we will see that copy constructor, constructor overloading and destructor, that is session 22. So let me begin with the first part of the today's session, that is the third type of constructor is copy constructor. So we have seen already in the last two sessions the default constructor as well as the parameterized constructor. Now today's session we are going to see how copy constructor works in C++ program. So first let me keep it in front of you, the definition of copy constructor. Copy constructor is a parameterized constructor using one object can be copied to another object. It is same as parameterized constructor, how it works, but what is the difference here? We are copying the one object to another object. That's the only difference here. There we were copying the values, external values to the member data. Here we are copying object to object. The copy constructor are used in the following situation. The first one is there to initialize an object with the values of already existing objects. As you know, there are few objects are created and that time compiler invoked the other constructor like default or a parameterized constructor. Now when you are creating new one, you want copy of the existing one itself, that time we can make use of this copy constructor. The second point says when objects must be returned as a function values. If objects has to be returned another object. So that is when that in the function if it is calls that object, so that time we can make use of a copy constructor so that to initialize that object by the existing object we can make use of copy constructor. To state objects as by value parameters of a function. So this is one more situation where I can state the objects as a value parameter of a function, that is in the function I am performing something and that finally it generates the another object value, so which I wanted to return as an object, so that time I can make use of a copy constructor. A copy constructor can accept a single argument of reference to same class type, and the argument must be passed as a constant reference type. Now in a case of copy constructor we are going to use only one argument, and that is also references to the same class type. So we are not just as like a simple object we are just sending. So what we are doing, we are passing the address of that object. So I can make you clear by showing the syntax. The general syntax of the copy constructor is as follows. Now, syntax for a copy constructor, similar way how you created default or parameterized constructor. Moreover, it is similar to parameterized constructor. Now, as you know, you are creating with the class name, and then private section will be there. Constructor must be in public section only. In the public section, you are creating the constructor with the class name itself, and inside that argument, as I told with you, the class name and ampersand p. So this means the only single argument of references same class type. So this is a reference, ampersand what I am using. So references to the same class type, and function body will be there. So this is a syntax. To make it clear, I'll make use of a simple example for a copy constructor. Look at here. I've created class test. In the private section, I've used one variable x of integer type, and in the public section, I've created one default constructor, and I've initialized x value is 0 in that. The one more constructor which is I've created for the copy constructor, that is test of test ampersand t. Now this is what I'm creating the object reference to the same class type. Now inside the function body, what I'm doing, x equal to t dot x means of this object, the whatever you're copying to the new object, that member data should have value of the past object value. So past object is t, and t's member data is x. So t dot x. So t dot x value I'm assigning to the current object. So this means the argument object's value will be copied to current object. This is the way what we are doing. I think I made you clear, but still let me make a move. Copy constructor, it's not invoked explicitly. Copy constructors are invoked automatically when a new object is created and equated to an already existing object in the declaration statement itself. So you have to specify in your program that when you're creating a new object, if you assign to the already existing object, that time automatically compiler will invoke the copy constructor. Otherwise it will not. Normally what happens, it will invoke the parameters constructor if exist, otherwise default constructor will be invoked by the compiler. Now in case if you wanted to invoke copy constructor, you have to follow, this is the way. Let me show you one simple example here. Now here what test t1, the t1 is already created object. Now t1 while creating object, here default constructor is invoked. Okay, the default constructor is invoked, and this object was initialized. Now in the next line what I'm doing, I'm creating one more object of test t2 and I'm assigning t1. Now here what happens, copy constructor will be invoked, and the value what you stored in t1, no, that value will be assigned to the t2 member data. Now T1 members data value will be assigned to the T2 member data. This is the way copy constructor will be used. Let me show you one more example. Now see here, I have taken T1 of 20. Now this is also test class is there, T1 of 20. This means I am making use of parameterized constructor. Now this T1 now object is assigned with the value 20. The member data is holding now 20 value. Now created T2 of T1. Now here what happened? It invokes copy constructor. Now T1 what member data is having the data, right? That will be assigned to the T2 member data. Got it? So this is the way I can make use of copy constructor in our C++ program, and this is the way we can make use of. So let me demonstrate to you people with the one C++ program to find the factorial of number using copy constructor. Okay, so as you know, C++ program begins with the hash include iostream.h header file, and I've created a class. The name I had given for this copy, and one in the private section I've created variable int var. Now I did not specify private. In the class by default it will treat private only. If you don't write private keyword, it will be treated as a private only. So it is not necessary. If you specify, it's good. If you don't specify, nothing will happen. So int var is treated as a private. Now in the public section I have created constructor. This is a parameterized constructor. Now whatever value I am using here, so that will be assigned to the var. So I have used here int temp. Now temp is assigning to the var. Var is a member data of this copy class. I have used one more member function, that is calculate. So this member function will be calculates the factorial of var. Now first to calculate factorial, okay, what we should have, what we need one variable. Say that I have used here fact to store the factorial of a var variable. I have created one more variable, that is fact. For the iteration purpose I have created one more variable is I. Now what I'll do, in the fact I'll store 1 initially, because we don't know what is the var is, what is the var value will be. So that's the reason in the fact as a multiplicative I'll store 1. Then I'll make use of for loop. For I equal to 1, I less than equal to var. So I'll repeat this for loop till var, from 1 to var, and each time I'll increment I by 1, and now each time fact I'll multiply by I and assign to the factor itself. So each iteration time the fact I'll multiply by I, and the product I'll store it in fact itself. And after completion of this iteration, in fact the factorial value will be generated, and that value I'll return where it is called. This is the way we are calculating the factorial. I'll close the class. Going forward, so let me show you the main function of this program. So I have used here void main, and I have created one temporary variable local to this function int n, and I asked user to enter the value from the keyboard, and I have read by using console input statement, and I stored value in n variable. Now what I'll do, copy obj. Now I created one object of copy class, obj of n I did. Now of n I did, what happens? This object is created with this n value. So that means this n, whatever you are entering, value will be assigned to the var member data, and here the parameterized constructor will be invoked. And next what I'll do, I'll create one more object cpy of copy class equal to obj I did. Now here what happened? Copy constructor will be invoked, and the whatever obj is having member data, that contents will be copied to the cpy member data. Now in case if I am entering n value is 5, then obj's member data var becomes 5, and I am equating to the cpy. So that time obj's member data is 5, no? That will be copied to the cpy member data var's value becomes 5. So here I'll just call the function before copying obj.calculate, and this function will calculates the factorial of that value, and results will be generated. Similar way I'll display the after copying, that is cpy.calculate I'll do. Now what is output comes? Now you say enter the number, it comes for me. So this is what you know, this is enter the number, it will ask. I'm entering that number and that value will be saved in the n variable, that is 6. Now what I am doing, copy obj of n, that is 6. Now 6 is assigned to what? Var. Now var, by using var in the function, what we calculated the factorial. Now 6 factorial is how much? That is 720. So actually I called it here function. So this calculates and returns the factorial. So before copying, the value is 6 factorial 720 is there. Now after copying is there the factorial. Now what is factorial after copying? This same thing, what is the contents of the obj is there, no? That itself copied to the cpy, right? So even cpy's answer is also coming for us 720 itself. Moving to the next, that is constructor overloading. A class has 2 or more constructor functions with the same name but different signatures are called constructor overloading. The constructor are used to initialize the data members of a class. We can use a constructor also to specify the input values for the data members. But the default constructor cannot be used for this purpose. So we have to overload the default constructor. The overloading constructor means specifying additional operation by passing the required arguments. Depending on the requirement, one can define any number of overloaded constructors in a single class. Depending upon the type of argument, the constructor will be invoked automatically by the compiler to initialize the objects. That means the type and number of arguments what you passed, the compiler decides which version of constructor to invoke during the object creation. It's very simple. How exactly in function overloading the function will be executed depend upon the call structure. How many arguments are there in that call, depend upon that compiler will be decides which function is supposed to be choose to execute. Similar way, while creating the objects, the compiler will take a decision which constructor I should take to initialize that object. You can have any number of constructor in that. You can have a default constructor, you can have a parameterized constructor, you can have a copy constructor. In parameterized constructor you can have a 1 parameter, 2 parameter, like that you can have. So according to the object, how many parameters are there, how many arguments are there, looking at that, compiler will decide which constructor is supposed to be invoked while creating the object. Now this example has overloaded constructor that used to specify the input values for the data members of the class. That is the simple interest calculation. The constructor is overloaded. We will see. Now I have created a class with the simple interest, and in the private area I have used 4 variables: P, R, T, SI. P for principal amount, R for rate of interest, T for time, and SI for simple interest. In the public section I have created first constructor, that is the default constructor. I have initialized P value is 0, R value is 0, T value is 0. I have created one more constructor with the parameters, so that is a parameterized constructor. So here I have assigned the value whichever parameters are used, that P equal to X, R equal to Y, and T equal to Z respectively. Now here constructors are overloaded. 2 constructors are there, so that means constructors are overloaded. Now third one I have used here member function, that is compute SI. Now here what I have displayed just in this function, simple interest, is P into R into T divided by 100. So this will be directly displays the simple interest, and I have closed the class. Now moving to the main function, I have created a main function with the void return type specifier, and I have created here 2 objects of simple interest class, that is SI1 and one more is SI2. The SI1, it is a simple, so automatically SI1 when it is created, it invokes default constructor, that is P, T, R value will be assigned 0. Whereas S2 object is created, the P value will be assigned 10,000 and R value will be assigned 12 and T value will be assigned 2. Next what I will do, I will call SI1.compute.SI, that object, first object, and I am calling compute the simple interest. Similar way with the second object also I will call with the compute SI. So here both the case I will just ask with the compute. Now what will be the output for this? The output is, this is the way comes. So here output for the first object will be displayed as 0 because P, T, R all values are 0. But in second case, the simple interest is 2400. That is, now here P value is 10,000, the T value is 2, R value is 12. Now if you take a product of this and after dividing by 100, the answer you will get 2400. So that means here constructor invoked in according to the object style. If you are creating without any parameters, it invokes a default constructor. With the parameter, it invokes parameterized constructor. And if you are using one more, that if your object, if you are creating and if you are assigning, then copy constructor will be invoked. Moving to the next concept, that is destructor, the last concept of this chapter. A destructor is a special function that executed when an object of that class is destroyed. So this function will be automatically executed when this object of that class is destroyed. Destroying an object means deallocating all the resources such as memory that was allocated for that object by the constructor. So as I told with you people, when constructor or a destructor concept when we'll make use of, the new operator as well as delete operator implicitly called by the compiler. So whenever constructor invoked, new operator will be implicitly called by the compiler to allocate the space for the object. Similar way, when object is destroying, that is when destructor is invoked by the compiler, the delete operator will be invoked implicitly by the compiler to deallocate the space, I mean to say memory is allocated to the object. So this will be done automatically. This is no need of user has to be specified. User has to specify only the special function constructor as well as destructor. Now destructor is similar to constructor, but that name is preceded by the tilde symbol that we have shown in this inside the parenthesis. The destructor is similar to the constructor, but the name is preceded by tilde symbol. Let me show you the general syntax for the destructor is as follows. The syntax for the destructor: you are creating the class name and private section will be there. In the public section you should have a constructor, that is the same name of the class, and the constructor body. Now destructor is the same name as the class but preceded by the tilde symbol, it is here, and the destructor body. Only this is the thing. The tilde symbol, if it is there, that means destructor. Now example to make you clear. Now here you see. Now in the class of test I created, in the private section int x is there, and in the public section the constructor I have created, and default constructor it is x equal to 0 I have initialized. And then I have created a destructor with a tilde symbol. In the function body I did not specify anything. So this means this constructor will be executed by initializing the value x equal to 0. But when this object was destroying, that time automatically this destructor will be invoked by the compiler, and whatever memory space is allocated for the object of that class test will be deallocated. Let me give an idea that destructor defining outside the class, which was previous example we saw inside the class it was defined. Now outside the class, similar way how exactly constructor you will define outside the class, same way you will do it here also. See here constructor is defined outside the class, that is the test scope resolution operator and test off, and the constructor body will be there. And destructor is your class name you are writing, that is test scope resolution operator tilde symbol and test off, the name of the destructor, and then destructor body. There's nothing difference is there. So I just wanted to show you people, when you'll make use of in your program, you should know it. For that reason I showed it. So let me show you the use of destructor in C++ program. So I'll simple C++ program I'll show you people. So I've created C++ program with the header file iostream.h, and I've created a class. The name is num. In the private section I've created one variable, that is int x. In the public section I've created first constructor, and I have displayed here message in constructor, and x equal to 100 I have initialized, and I have used a member function void display. Value of x equal to, I have displayed x, that is whatever initialized value will be there, so that will be displayed. And I have created destructor with the tilde symbol, and then the same name of the class, that is num of, and I have here mentioned messages in destructor. So whenever destructor invoked by the compiler, no, this message will be displayed on the screen. Now class I closed it. Whenever constructor is invoked by the compiler, in constructor message will be displayed, as well as the variable will be assigned by 100. Similar way, whenever object will be destroyed, the destructor will be invoked by the compiler, and this message will be displayed on the screen. So let me show you how exactly main function is there. I have created main function with the return type specifier is void, and I have created object of num class, that is a, and I called a.display and get ch. So how output will occurs? The output is here. First, what you know, a is created, no, that time automatically constructor is invoked by the compiler, and message is displayed in constructor. Then what we did, a.display we did. So whatever value is assigned to the a object, that's member data x is there, x is assigned 100, so that value of x is 100, it is displayed. And then get ch, when we do, we encounter, that means end of the program, we are destroying the objects. Automatically compiler called a destructor, and in the destructor the message was there in destructor. This displayed on the screen. So this means automatically it deallocated the memory space which was assigned by or allocated by the constructor when object was created. So this is what work will be done by the destructor. And one point I just wanted to add you people to keep it in your mind. The destructor can be defined only if that class consists of constructor. Without constructor, you cannot have a destructor. The class can defined without a destructor, only with the constructor, but class cannot define only with the destructor. So by concluding this chapter, so I just wanted to tell you, we have learned constructor. It is a special member function that is executed automatically whenever an object of a class is created. Next we learned 3 types of constructor, that is a default constructor, parameterized constructor, and copy constructor. Default constructor does not take any arguments. Parameterized constructor takes one or more arguments, and copy constructor is a parameterized constructor, but it will be used to copy one object to another object. We have learned constructor can be overloaded, and at the last we learned destructor are member function that destroy an object automatically. That is what end of chapter 9, constructor and destructor. Thank you my dear students. Have a great time for spending your valuable time with me. Once again, I thank you from my bottom of heart. God bless you.